Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother, Love Ruthie. Ruth Smallshaw Ray's Letters to Her Mother, 1946, Part 22. St. Augustine, Florida, October 30th, 1946. My dearest mother. Hello, darling. Was it ever a nice letter that I got from you? And honey, am I ever happy that you liked your earrings and ring. I was especially glad to know that everything as far as mailing went was okay. As you know, I had been wondering so much. It was nice to hear all the news, dear, and what news? Marge Walker getting married today. Why, it hardly seems possible. Now I know I'm getting old, and Phyllis too. Yikes! Quite an art career there, eh? We've really been very busy the past few days. Halloween, you know. I've been wondering if you had your party for your kiddies at Sunday school. I had collected up a few things that I planned on mailing you in time for it. Fluorescent skeletons, etc. But you didn't mention it again, so I'll use them for our party at school. Today I did something for the first time in my life. Made a jack-o'-lantern out of a pumpkin. They gave a pumpkin to each teacher in the primary grades. So with my babies grouped around, we went at it. Marked the face, then cut off the top, took out the insides, and cut out eyes, nose, and mouth. Real tricky like. I was quite proud of our efforts, and the kiddies got a big bang out of it all. Do I ever like being in a primary room? Of course, we had to write about everything we did for language as we went along, and everybody took a little fistful of insides out. Quite the high time. And I found another little Indian to be crazy about. He's a little blind half-breed and cute as anything. Really appeals to me. This one can't roll his eyes, but he can talk. I don't know what it is about Indians I like. So only when they're little ones, though. The seniors and intermediates had their party last night, and I naturally went into it too, although I was the only primary teacher. I've discovered that I really must like putting mustard on hot dogs and wearing myself out playing games. Marion and I had them play a game from Saskatoon that apparently they'd never done here, and talk about going nuts. They really went to town, believe me. We're having a wonderful time, and apparently it was appealing to the kids because you could hardly hear yourself think. As usual, some of the teachers thought it a bit rough and wild. But what is a party for if not to have fun? Anyway, everyone heard about it, and one teacher told us that 7 or 8 people had remarked how nice the 2 Canadians were and how well they fitted in. The kids went all out on the costumes, 2 boys as farmers, even had a calf with them. They had a dance from 7 to 10 with a very good orchestra. It was swell, more like a real dance as the pupils are here till they're 21, preparing to go to Gula Day College. Gee, I feel like a heel at the moment. I'm on study hall duty tonight. About 100 girls, and I'm supposed to watch and see that they do their homework. I just got up from this letter to walk around and caught a little girl drawing faces. How quickly we forget. I surprised her and got after her and told her to show the other girls. Immediately she began to cry. Heel Smallshaw. I waited and then showed her how to draw prettier ones, but I still feel mean. Jeepers, and I still draw, even in teachers' meetings. I guess I mentioned that both Marion's and the sailor I knew were in confinement. Mine phoned long distance Friday to say they were shipping him to Charleston, South Carolina. Apparently they do that to fellows in the brig. I said to Marion, fate, because I really am not fond of the idea of having anyone serious around. Well, a few hours later he was in town. He'd gone to the captain and asked special permission to come to St. Augustine. I just about fell over because I thought he'd be gone. However, he took us out to supper, which always helps, and to Dixie's dancing, where Marion met a fellow, and while the sailor was out, he and his boyfriend asked us out the next night. I haven't bothered answering the sailor's letters as I don't want him showing up anymore. They had a car, so Saturday night we went out to the beach hotel dance, and from there back and out to the Surfside Beach Club dance, which was really nice. It's been the most enjoyable time since we've been in Florida. The fellows are more our type, from St. Augustine. Marion, of course, is in love and all over Ian Ragg. He's a nice fellow, though, and I think she might be. His father owns a lot of turpentine trees. I'm enjoying myself. When we first arrived here, Mrs. Averill told us about the wealthiest bachelor here. He married the haggler. You're supposed to know the name. Apparently trains, hotels named after it. Heiress. She killed herself. He has a lot of money. It's fishy, too, of course. Well, he's the uncle of the fellow I was out with, although I met a couple of other fellows I like better. Don says he's studying night and day except Saturday nights when he goes to a show with Bruce. Sounds good to me. Well, honey Joe, it's a great life. One little girl just asked me if I'd ever been deaf. These kids are marvelous lip readers. If I had a deaf child myself, I would not let it go to Saskatoon. If I had a deaf child, I would let it go to the Florida school. It's strictly oral and ideal. The kiddies do learn to talk and lip read very, very well. As far as any other school in the United States, I don't know. Anyone with a cottage system is usually good, but a state school, all in one building, probably would not be as good or better than Saskatoon. As far as Migdals go, I don't believe they've anything to lose by letting him stay in Saskatoon. But don't say I said anything, okay? Just my opinions. You can carry on a conversation with any one of these children by talking. It's remarkable. Oh, big news! We've got 10 pounds of sugar, which in St. Augustine is almost amazing. We got to know the girl who wraps our groceries and told her about being from Canada. No sugar. So she asked the manager. And one day he told us to go to the back, and presto, 10 pounds. Good, eh? Oh, the letter from the medical co-op was a $3 check. When I had my medical for my visa, I sent the receipt into them, so they paid me. Hope they pay Dr. Allen, too, this month. I've signed up with Blue Cross here and dropping my Saskatoon Medical Co-op. It's $5 until Christmas in Saskatoon and $4 for 8 months here. Okay? At the moment I have a bad sore throat and sore throat glands, so I'm a bit worried. Only 5 sick days allowed makes it tough. It's not from the weather, but from a germ that a lot of people have. 4 teachers so far have been away. It's not so much the sickness as the worry it entails. Alice had to pay her bills herself as the plan became effective at Williams September 1st, and she had her operation August 21st. Tough, eh? You know, dear, I love you so very much. It seems like so long already since I've had you to talk things over with, and there really has been a lot of new ideas pass into Ruthie's head, and wish you could be here to hear me learn. Take care of that wonderful mommy of mine. Love, Ruthie. P.S. October 31st, 1946. Mother darling, I just got your letter telling me about Grandma, and I must try and write to them too. Let me know how she is, won't you? Is Daddy going down? I hope she'll be all right. It was lovely hearing about all your activities, and so hard to imagine it snowing. All my life it's been that way, yet it still seems funny. It's so warm here, too warm for suits, even in the evening. Last night the 2 St. Augustine fellows drove up to school for us and took us dancing. Marion is very much in love, and they were trying to decide to go to Georgia Friday for the football game. It's only about 400 miles. While there, they could be married, so he said. Marion wouldn't go, so hope it's all off. He's handsome, 6 foot, 24 and wealthy, rather spoiled. They're a lot alike. The fellow, Marion's English Ryan, is quite the playboy. Last night he made a bet while we ate at the Blue Heron for $50 on the football game. Army versus Notre Dame. So pull for Army in about 2 weeks, eh, bud? Marion said to tell you that she's glad she's all over Roger, Mother. Well, was it ever a nice note from Bud? Really the busy kid, eh? Just watch those marks, though. That's the important thing. Yes, life really is very interesting, a wonderful world, and more so as you go on. I have to go back to school in an hour for my kiddies' Halloween party, and then study hall duty from 7 o'clock to 8:30. Oh, my complexion's fine. Wonderful climate, you know. Love you, Ruthie. Florida School for the Deaf and the Blind, St. Augustine, Florida, November 5th, 1946. My dearest mother. Election day in the United States, honey, and as you can imagine, what the radio sounds like, as in Canada, only more so. I guess I really didn't understand about Republicans versus Democrats. Apparently the Negroes are Republicans, as Abraham Lincoln was, and a lot of the whites here are Democrats. It's not so secretive as what you are as in Canada. I guess you'll know by the time you get this. But all the guesses are in favor of the Republicans, so we'll see. Enough of politics, dear. It's a long time since I've heard from you. Did you know? I felt much up to par because of my cold. I haven't felt much up to par. I had a super time at my kiddies' party. They all had the sweetest costumes, some sent from home. With their costumes, masks, and tooting their horns, we marched around the campus twice. That's about a couple of miles, believe me. Then we went back into school. Earlier we had opened a partition between the next room and mine, making it one long room. We'd arranged 5 tables, decorated them with orange and black crepe paper and place cards. With the lights off and candles lit on the tables, the jack-o'-lanterns lit around the room, and some ghosts I'd made from coat stands, it was really very effective, and the kiddies loved it. We had wieners, potato chips, pumpkin pie, apples, milk, and candy. It was so cute seeing my babies pick up the pie with their fingers, put it on their forks, and then into their mouths. After lunch, I thoroughly wore myself out playing games. Quite the high time until Zoe and the teachers made me rest, as I was on duty in the intermediate and senior girls' study hall. So since it was a nice, refreshing sparkling of rain outside, by the time I reached the next building I was cool, but it didn't do my cold much good. I'd managed to make it to school and Sunday school, but stayed in bed all day Saturday and felt pretty grim. I think it's clearing up, though. Sunday we drove out to Point Vedra, about 26 miles away, for dinner. And Mother, what a lovely experience. It's sort of like a fairyland, an ideal modern suburb with everything, extremely exclusive. It's about 15 miles out of Jacksonville, and a lot of the doctors, lawyers, etc. have their homes there. The drive all the way there was by the ocean. Someone remarked how dull the scenery was. If you can call palm trees and sand dunes and ocean dull, to me it was thrilling. The homes, any one of them, would make Lakeview look very ordinary. They are all on the ocean and have their own section of private beach. The Point Vedra Hotel, where we had a lovely turkey dinner, was really different. It has the best golf course in Florida, and all the championship matches are played off on it. In the hotel was even a store selling dresses and bathing suits, if you want to pay $35 each for them, and souvenirs at $10. Well, dear, I thought that was something we'd just forget about. We got admittance to the exclusive Point Vedra Beach Club. It was marvelous. A very modernistic terrace and dance pavilion. Along by the beach is a huge glassed-in terrace with fireplace each end, about 150 windows in all. Mother, I guess I'm funny, but when I see the ocean coming up in huge waves and the white beach and the sky, it's so lovely I feel like I'm selfish to be enjoying it so, and wish you would share it. You would share it, dear. About a mile up the beach during the war, a German submarine landed some enemy saboteurs. They'd had their supplies catched away, and one asked a boy for some directions. He became suspicious and reported it, so they were caught. I never realized before how close the war came here. They say several ships were sunk just off the coast and could be seen from Point Vedra, the flames from St. Augustine, and apparently they often heard the torpedoes exploding. Little did I realize. So I really enjoyed that little excursion. There's something about the ocean that I find so exciting yet restful. The sailor phoned from Jacksonville. He was on his way to North Carolina and left the ship and tried to make it to St. Augustine, but he'd been picked up in Jacksonville and fined $60, and they were sending him back to the ship. Fellows are nuts down here. Editor's note about dear Ruthie. And English's $50 bet on Saturday, pull for Army to win by 7 points. Marion's still very happy about everything. The fellows were just over and asked us to go to the show, but I'm going to cure this cold and get my homework letters done. I worked 4 hours on reports. Marion's sailor skipped his confinement and he and his boyfriend were in. So the sailor sat here for 4 hours and I was still working when he left. This school really goes in for reports. Mother, I really love these kiddies now. I guess I just can't help getting attached to each class I get. Teaching speech here is a joy because you know the children will use their speech. I'm very glad I made the change. Now it seems a bigger step than I realized at the time, I think. It's so hard to believe it's so late in the year. It just seems like July still. I can't imagine Christmas coming and no snow. I can't bear to think of not being with you, dear. Right about now I'm due for a weekend at home. Wish I could. Have you got your Venetian blinds yet? How are you? Miss you, dear. Could I ever go for a few days of sitting in my housecoat and talking to you for hours about everything I know and don't know, and eating brownies and apple pie and rearranging pictures and being happy just being where you are and worrying about Buddy not working hard enough at school. How's it coming, Bud? Getting set for that step beyond Scott Collegiate? I saw Scott's commencement in the newspaper. Thanks for the paper and the Reader's Digest, dear. I enjoy everything you send, and thanks. We made some ice cream in the refrigerator today and are quite proud of our efforts. It's really good, too. Mother, do you think I'll always like playing children's games and making jack-o'-lanterns and getting excited just seeing an ocean and some fish? Is it juvenile to be like that? Remember how worried you used to be when I played with Diane and Catherine, teaching them. Do you still worry about my childish traits? I miss talking to my mommy so much. Take care of yourself. Love, Ruthie. To be continued. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Take care. And I'll see you next time.